Hey guys, welcome back. So today let's talk about a cheap gun video. We haven't done one of these in a long time. Cheap gun is so brutal. How about affordable gun? Either way, $3.99 for a 1911 that's chambered in God's cartridge 10mm. Don't you dare say 45 ACP. And yeah, so YouTube, I am not trying to sell this gun. This gun's no longer available. I'm just telling a story about how I found this thing for $399. Now 1911s and 10mm generally are $1,000 or more. If you take a look at a Ruger SR 1911, right around 900 bucks for that. And it's a quality name brand, American-made product. And then you also have Colt, the Delta Elite, one of the original 10mm guns. Colt still makes those. Those things retail for about $1,200. So $399, man. If you take into consideration the cost of manufacturing, the cost of materials, the cost of importing it from the Philippines where this gun's made, then having to pay the excise tax and all that stuff, get it to distributors, all those shipping costs, everything else, and still bring it to market for $399, seems too good to be true. And many times when that's the case, when something seems too good to be true, sometimes it is. And that's what we're going to explore in today's video. Was $399 well spent on this? That's what we're going to find out. A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business in that particular community? And one of the best ways to do that is to become a gunsmith. Every gunsmith I know is just overbooked with work. It's a very good living. And so if you would like to become a gunsmith, you need to go to a gunsmithing school or become an apprentice for an existing gunsmith. But Modern Gun School is an accredited college that also works with veterans in the GI Bill, where you can go and get a degree from accredited college in gunsmithing and then go out and start your own gunsmithing business, which I think is a really great option. Again, throughout my entire life, gunsmiths have always been able to earn a really good living, assuming they have a really strong work ethic. So please check out Modern Gun School. I do have a link in the video description below. So what do you get for your money? Well, here's the box that the gun's going to ship in. Open that up. You'll find a manual, gun safe, a fired case. This is required in some states. Stuff trying to sell you things. Some swag from Palmetto State Armory where I picked it up, and then you have the gun itself. So that's what you're going to get for your $399, although they're no longer available. Now, it's also worth noting that even though it was only $399, the original price on the website, I think, was like $7.99 or $8.99, so it was right around 800 bucks originally. So that would be a normal price for a 10mm 1911. Certainly want the features that it has. Now, if you take a look at the Ruger, this is a $900 handgun where that was originally priced at, and let's see how it stacks up feature-wise. So if you take a look at the Rock Island Armory, or Arsenal Armory, I always want to screw it up, Rock Island Armory. If you take a look at the pistol, we'll start off down here. First of all, you'll notice it has an extended mag well. You're not going to find that on the Colt or the Ruger. Then we have G10 grips. You're not going to find that on either of the other two guns. Now we do have a flat mainspring housing, which the other guns have as well. We have a hump here on the grip safety and a beaver tail, which you're going to find on the other guns as well. We don't have an undercut here, but neither of the other pistols have that, so there's no heavy undercut here to let the gun set deeper in your hands, more or less a military/GI cut there. It does have a lowered ejection port, which is just kind of a standard feature in 1911s these days. You don't really see too many of the military World War I type 1911 anymore, cuts on the slides anyway for the ejection port. And then if you take a look at the sights, you're going to find that this has adjustable rear sight, which you're going to find on the Ruger. You just have a Novak style sight on the Colt, but you have that adjustable sight. You have a 2-dot arrangement in the rear. Then we have a high vis sight on the front. It is not a night sight. So we have a spurred ball hammer, spurred hammer, I should say, which is similar to the other two pistols that are out here. And then of course we have a skeletonized trigger, which the other pistols have as well. And just a standard mag release, standard dust cover. We don't have any accessory rails on it or anything like that. And if you take a look at this gun compared to like the Ruger, you're going to find that the Ruger has a full-length guide rod and a bull barrel with no bushing. The Colt is a more traditional setup. It has a GI length guide rod and recoil spring, and then has a bushing on it. So this is a more conventional design. This one, like the Ruger, has a bull barrel, no bushing, and a full-length guide rod. But overall, the features on the gun are really, really good. Now, if you take a look at the fitment of the gun, which is something I'm kind of a stickler for when it comes to 1911s, first thing I want to test is the trigger, right? I want to see how good the trigger is. So it takes up, comes right to the shelf, clean break, no over travel. It is an adjustable trigger. So the trigger is very nice. typical 1911 style trigger. Maybe just a hint of over travel, but that can be taken right out of it because it is an adjustable trigger. So it has a really nice trigger on it. The gun also has no slop in the frame and slide fitment. It just has just a minimal amount of movement, which is like perfect, almost like a hand fit Ed Brown type fitment there. Nice, very Dan Wesson-ish in terms of its fitment. Pushing on the barrel hood, there's no movement in the barrel. So I would say overall, the gun seems to be properly tuned, and all the features, or all the components are nicely fit on the gun. If you take a look at the rear of the gun, you'll notice that there's no slide overhang on the frame. They're smooth, like they're machined together. If you take a look at the extractor, it's also smooth in the back of the slide. Many times on a budget or affordable type 1911s, you'll find that there's overhang back here because they're not machined together, and sometimes that extractor will be too far in or too far out. This one's perfectly flush. So if you just take a look at the fit and finish of the gun, it's certainly worth the $399. The only issues we've had with it is that we'll get the occasional false lock where the gun will lock open for some unknown reason. That's happened with its own factory magazine and also with a Trip Research magazine. But it seems like that's maybe going away. We'll have to keep testing to find out. It's not a very common occurrence, but it's happened a couple of times since we started shooting the gun. So, yeah, anyway, very interesting. One other feature this pistol has that the other two pistols, the Ruger and the Colt, don't have that we have out here today is the fact that it has an Ambi Safety. All right, so that's an additional feature that the other two guns don't have. Of course, they're considerably more expensive than this handgun is. So in terms of the shootability of the gun, really, there's very little difference between this and the other guns that I have out here, other 10mm 1911s or 9mm, 45 ACP 1911s I have. Very little difference in terms of the fit, finish, and overall quality of the gun. It certainly seems to work quite well. $399 is a steal. Such a smooth shooting pistol. Love the 1911. It looks like they did a nice job with it. While it's not a regular price for this particular firearm, it just goes to prove that good deals can still be had out there. You just have to shop around and look for those sales flyers. Many times we'll post things over on Twitter when we find a good deal like this. I did post about this when I ordered one for myself. I post over on Twitter, hey guys, check this out. I found a really good price. So if you shop around, you can still find good values out there, and affordable guns can be had. And this one, I really like it. I mean, it's an affordable 10mm 1911. It's something I can let my son have when he gets a little bit older. He can shoot it and have fun with it, take it camping, whatnot. And it hasn't cost me so much money that I'm afraid to scratch it or get it hurt or something like that. It's just a great service handgun for the amount of money. And of course, I love 10mm. So shop around. Look for good values. You will find them out there. There's plenty of them still to be had, especially right now. It's generally speaking a buyer's market. If you guys like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, the best possible way to do that is become part of our Patreon family. There's a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got the little join and thanks button underneath the video player you're watching right now. Mash either one of those buttons and support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Last but not least, please swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thank you for 15 years of support. We'll talk to you guys soon.